What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome to the show. Excited to have you guys with us. You made it to Friday. Give yourselves a big old pat on the back. I know, Landon. I know. But you guys made it to the weekend. Well done. Welcome to the All Sauce team. Brought to you by the Betting News Network and our sponsors at BetOnline. You guys know the deal, Chad. Get involved with BetOnline with a $1,000 deposit bonus. And that cute little QR code will also get you $10 dropped into your account. It is the busy season. The vibes are high. So go ahead and get yourselves some free cash dropped into your account. We already got Goats in chat. Excited to have you guys with us. Let's go, Landon. We'd love to see it. Appreciate you guys stopping by and hanging out with us today. That is Vsauce. That is Just Sook. My name is Sweatpants Jesus. So stoked to have you with us. Boys, how we living? Ready to rock and roll?
Bro, I'm feeling good. Week 3 looks like a lot of fun. I dove into a bunch of games this week, peeped the scribbles, but I have a lot of plays out there, and I can't wait to dive into this entire slate with you boys.
See, I'm the opposite. I haven't had a chance to lab yet. So right now will be my live labbing with you boys, which I'm excited to do because we do that every Friday, usually on All Sauce. We run through the whole slate. So I'm pumped to do that with you boys for week 3 in the NFL.
Yeah, we're going to spend some time on the show today, as we normally do on Sauce Team, labbing up the NBA, but because there's still no NBA yet, although month away, boys, month away. We're going to lab through most of the NFL week 3. If you guys tapped in with up your units this morning with Colby and Shags, they kind of talked about the bets that they had locked in as well. But we're going to talk through each game, kind of give our thoughts, talk about the plays we have out there, and then kind of look at some of the news also that's been happening around the NFL over the last couple of days. But before we do that, we are going to talk about our Bozos of the week, probably my favorite segment we do all the time. And then a couple NBA pieces of news just to drop in as well. And then we're going to dive in. We're not going to give you guys any bets on the slate tonight. There's only baseball. There's not even WNBA anymore. So yeah, I know there's only baseball. None of us are locked in with baseball anymore. So chat, if you guys have some bets out there on the diamond that you want us to tail, throw them out there. Otherwise, we're going to be chatting mostly about NFL week 3. Excited to have you guys here. Thanks so much for stopping by. As I said, if you're watching us on Twitch, if you're watching us on YouTube, if you're watching us on X, wherever you guys are consuming this content, we really appreciate you guys stopping by and hanging out with us. We've got a couple more weeks left of September. And if you're watching us on Twitch, it's September right now. So you get a discounted sub. We've already had so many goats sub up over the last couple of weeks. Drop a sub if you're feeling so frisky, get a discount on it. It helps us support the channel as well. It really gives us a nice little boost. So we appreciate it. We already got Jesus in the chat too, who I got in touch with. And guys, Jesus won my giveaway that I did for a football hoodie. And guess what? He actually wanted an All Sauce Team hoodie instead.
Let's go.
So we hooked him up. With an All Sauce Team hoodie. Our dog Jesus in the chat. So
Jesus, you are now my favorite. You are now my new favorite.
Yeah, almost 2 years he's been subbed up to the channel. How about that too?
Love you, buddy. Thank you.
Love to see it. We love to see it. Let's get it. All right, vibes are high. Hope you're having a great Friday out there. If you're watching us right now, ending your work day, let's we gotta be Mel.
Mel already got his this week. We're moved on from his bozo-ness.
Well, I think we can all agree that Mel Kiper is an absolute bozo from yesterday's show. That was definitely the bozo take of the week. But we all have different ones today. So let's go ahead and jump into it and talk about our those bozos of the week. All right. I'll go first. Mine's I don't think you guys expected me to make mine about the WNBA. And I was gonna say Mel again, but he got lambasted yesterday enough. So I'm gonna make mine.
Can I just say it was hilarious when Rogers came out and said, "Oh yeah, they've been game planning for Garrett Wilson. A lot of that too high safety, right, Mel, or something like that." That was so fucking funny, dude.
He basically said, like, yeah, they've been playing a lot too high. Mel Kiper would have absolutely hated it. Yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about it yesterday. Go watch the clip. I posted a clip of it today, kind of dissecting about it. I think it was pretty informational. We had a 15-minute chat on the show yesterday about it, which people liked. So go hit that up. But Bozo of the week. So mine's about the WNBA. You guys know how much I love Caitlin Clark. Everybody in the WNBA loves Caitlin Clark. I think she's a bona fide MVP candidate. I think that she probably, based on the numbers, should win the MVP over A'ja Wilson. But I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, and we've already talked about Gilbert Arenas' podcast being an absolute shit show anyway. But Cheryl Swoops decided to talk about Caitlin Clark, and for some reason, she just fucking hates Caitlin Clark. I don't know what it is about. She's in the same kind of ilk as like Diana Taurasi, of like these older players. Obviously, Cheryl Swoops is older than Diana Taurasi, but these older ladies that were, you know, the kind of the cornerstones of the WNBA, talking about how like Caitlin Clark's going to come in and she's going to get, you know, she's going to find out that it's not as easy as you think it is, blah, blah, blah. Diana Taurasi obviously had that terrible take to start the season. This is the clip that Cheryl Swoops talked about. We have to play the clip specifically. Yeah, you can. You want to.
15 seconds.
Go for it.
If we say her stats are today, what?
20 points, 8.4 assists, 6 rebounds.
That's crazy.
But 5.6
Those are hell of a number.
Those are hell of a numbers.
But to me, that's not dominating.
Yeah, it's only not dominating because she's a rookie.
Now, if if she's putting up now, if we say
so, the other part of that clip, it's a longer clip. Go watch the whole thing. But as you can see on the screen, Cheryl Swoops' numbers when she won the MVP, pretty much exactly the same as what Caitlin Clark's doing as a rookie.
Worse.
Yeah, if not worse. And the crazy thing to me is that Cheryl Swoops not only has made this take, but then she doubled down on the take to disregard her own legacy to basically say, you know what, I actually wasn't that good. Like, she was one of the best players in the WNBA history. It still is one of the best players in the WNBA history. She was like, no, my numbers weren't that good. Like, it's not that big a deal because, like, I don't really think that she's dominating the league. What are we fucking doing? Can you not just acknowledge the fact that both things can be true, that you were a bona fide MVP, you were great. Caitlin Clark is also in that conversation, and she's already great. Like, why can't they both be true? I don't understand the hate towards her. I don't get it. Cheryl Swoops, you're a bozo.
What I don't understand is, like, I know that we see it in the NBA all the time with some of these like commentators. A lot of these guys have biases. It exists. It's our world. We have biases, right? We do.
Yeah, we do too. Exactly.
But we always, I feel like try to take our bias out of it. I can't stand LeBron James because of the hurt that he's caused me as a Celtics fan. But the thing is I understand that he is great. He is dominant in all the things that he brings to the table. I don't understand why when this happens in the WNBA, it becomes such a foreign concept. If you don't like somebody, that's okay. But to say that they're not hoopers, to say that they're not dominant, to say all of these things that she's been saying is crazy. She scored the most points any point guard has ever scored in a single season. And I would say her first 10 games in the league were basically throwaway games. Fucking throwaway games. If you look at the jump in stats from after that period, she took a team that was projected to win less than 16 games this year and put them in the fucking postseason, right? This is a team that was nowhere last year that once again ended up with the first overall pick. Show me the last number 1 overall pick in any sport that took a team that was last place the season before and put them in the postseason the next year. Not even CJ Stroud did that. The Texans were not last place, right? So talk to me. Talk to me nice. Who the fuck's done that? Is it LeBron? Did LeBron make the playoffs in his rookie year? I can't remember.
I don't know. I think he did. No. I think he but he definitely. I mean, he immediately made an impact. But
I'm excited to see what her numbers look like after 2 to 3 seasons, because then all of this chatter is gonna look fantastic on the clips afterwards.
100%. Dude, and I mean, Kanika makes a good point. Asia's still the GOAT. And I'm not arguing that both things can be true. It does not mean that because Caitlin Clark, and I talked with NZ about this on the W, and I mean, we've talked about it with our definitions of what MVP is. If you look at it from a perspective of, we got a sub bang? Boom, let's go. Bing bong. Appreciate you, Embiid. Thank you.
Well, I'm 30, but I can't say stuff like that. On screen.
Also, Embiid, we're going to talk about you in just a second. We'll get there, but we appreciate the love, dude. I don't know. I just don't understand. You know, as you said, V, which is true. There's a lot. I mean, we all have personal bias towards players, and sometimes it's not really explainable. You just don't like a player. You don't like the way they play. You don't like something that they do or whatever. And it's really difficult to remove your bias from these situations. But as we have acknowledged, Caitlin Clark is a generational talent that has brought incredible eyeballs to the WNBA. All of her games are sold out. I don't know if you guys saw. I retweeted this kind of an hour ago. The 3 games in the series against the Sun that the Indiana Fever are playing are already the most expensive tickets in WNBA history already, and they're gonna sell out. No doubt. It's just insane that she's getting so much hate, especially from legends in the game that have doubled down on their terrible takes. So she's my bozo. She deserves to be a bozo. She kind of looks good with those glasses on, and I wish she would wear that red nose because she is a bozo.
I mean,
so do you have anything to say about this? Yeah.
I mean, you guys covered the sports aspect. We should cover the human aspect. Instead of doubling back and being like, you know what? I fucked up. Caitlyn really kind of has done it. Like Deanna Taurasi was kind of very critical about let's see how Caitlyn does when she comes into the league. And now she's kind of avoided that whole situation because she knows what she said is not lining up with what actually occurred this WNBA season. Cheryl Swoops did the weird thing. Like these are the type of people I don't want to be friends with. Instead of being like, yo, I fucked up. I said some stupid ass shit. You're like, yo, nah. Everything is just weird. You're doing mental gymnastics and recontextualizing history to be like, I'm still kind of right. Come on. I'm still kind of right. Please
make me right. I'm totally right. But the crazy thing is that can you imagine wanting to stand on your take so hard that you degrade your own legacy? Like to say, oh, it doesn't matter. Like I wasn't actually that good. What the hell, man? You want to be right so bad that you are degrading yourself. Like that is such bullshit, dude.
Dude, I don't know. The WNBA, I will say this, operates a little bit differently with how candid they are with their takes and the way that they talk about players. Like we saw that I think one time, and it's been Draymond talking about Rudy, right? Or Shaq talking about Rudy, and none of us really like it that much. Like this isn't fun when these guys are just like going out of their way to shit on one specific player. But it's just like at the beginning of the season, I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody in the WNBA that tweeted out, I think Caitlin Clark may lead the league in assists this year. And then Alyssa Thomas commented on that saying, whatever that person's name was, don't fucking play with me. Laughing emoji, laughing emoji, laughing emoji. And what did she go and do? She went and led the league in assists. She scored the most points any point guard has ever scored, ever. Not in her rookie season, right? Like she's doing things that have never been done before. So cut the shit and just sit back and enjoy greatness. I had to enjoy LeBron. Sometimes you might not like it, but greatness nonetheless.
That's a perfect transition. Last point on this. You've brought this up before about Caitlyn. When LeBron was drafted, every vet on the Cavs was like caught in interviews being like, I don't know if this guy is really going to change our fortunes. Come on, he's a rookie. What is he going to do? We already have guys in this room that are NBA players. And what happened? LeBron became the leader from day one.
Yeah.
Last thing on this, I just saw this clip of Tiger Woods being interviewed when he was like very, very young. I think entering one of his first professional tournaments. And the interview asked him, like, what do you hope to finish this weekend, right? He's like, I hope to win. And he's just like, oh, you hope to win? Like with all these professional golfers here and this and that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, people would be happy with second or third. And he's like, yeah, I get that, right? But I'm here to win. What's the point of coming if you're not here to win? And at the end of the interview, you know what the guy says? He's like, don't worry, you'll learn. And we all know who will fuck learn, right? Who learned their lesson. Tiger went on to be the greatest golfer of all time, the most winningest golfer of all time, right? So this is the same kind of energy that we're going to see. And these are the kind of clips we're going to watch in 15 years when she's already shattered every scoring record in this fucking league.
Okay, Landon knows who you're talking about because you golf reference. Curtis Strange, apparently, with a strange take. Yeah, this is true, Kev. And this is the point. And this is the point that will always be the point, is if she triples down, then see you later.
I'm the biggest Caitlin Clark fan right now in the NBA postseason. I can tell you.
Yeah, I mean, SPJ, we talked about it like when we first had like our first few episodes of the W, we played Glory Road and we asked Caitlin Clark or Sue Bird who will end up with more chips. A lot of people thought that was like a crazy conversation to have, but now right away people are like, do they have a chance in the playoffs?
Yeah,
I fully switched.
It's going to be fun watching them in that Sun series because if I think they win the first series, then they're going to be dangerous, dude. If they get some momentum, get some dubs under their belt against the Sun, could be interesting. But
even if they're an underdog, all the pressure will be on the other team, not 100%. To lose to Caitlin and the Fever.
Exactly.
I love hoops. You're tuning in. It's postseason hoops, guys. Make sure you watch the games. We're
going to have some next week. We're going to do a couple of view parties on playback to watch a couple games next week. Okay. Which should be fun. So, all right, that's my bozo. What you guys got?
V, you want to go or you want me to
Please,
go?
I'll be quick. Nobody wants to hear mine anyways. It is what it is, right? But we're going to talk about CBS and this ranking of coaches. I don't understand it. Rick Carlisle went from needing to be fired this year to not. He shouldn't have a job with the Pacers next year with the way that he coached that Celtics series. Does everybody not remember that rhetoric, that entire conversation that was going on? Now CBS has him ranked third. This guy almost didn't have a fucking job, right? We're talking about Steve Kerr, a guy who hasn't sniffed the postseason since fucking what? Since Nam, it feels like this dude would be literally still behind the fucking desk calling games if Steph Curry didn't enter his fucking life. All right. Ty Lue, love it. Nick Nurse, solid coach. Do I think he's number 2? Absolutely fucking not. One good year where Kawhi led this Raptors team to a championship, and you're going to put him as the second best coach on this list? They got worked last season. Once Joel went down, he had no answer. He had no adjustments for the Knicks. He had no answer for them. What are we talking about, Nick Nurse? We have Joe Mazzulla at 11 after Tibbs, after Bood, a guy that just got fired like less than a season ago, right? What the fuck are we talking about? Mark Dagnall, a guy who's had one winning season with the Thunder, one, right? I'm tired of this rhetoric. Joe Mazzulla is the second best coach in the NBA right now, and it's clear he's had 2 seasons. He's made a conference finals, he's made an NBA finals, and there is no question how guys believe in him and listen to him and how much influence he has on the players. Just because he coaches a great team does not make him any less of a good coach. Just because the Celtics are this fucking good doesn't mean when they beat the fuck out of teams that they aren't an amazing team. Joe is top 3 for sure in this league, and there's not a single team that right now, if you could pluck Joe off the Celtics and take him, there's maybe 3 teams in the league that don't do that.
I mean, I am not a Celtics bias guy, and I think he deserves to be top 5 right now. Maybe because he doesn't have as much legacy as these other guys. He hasn't been coaching as long. But I mean, Mark Dagnall at fucking 6 just kind of throws that logic completely out the window.
Will Hardy at 7.
Yeah,
you can't put Mark ahead of Joe. No.
I mean, Doc Rivers at 22 is kind of sus too. I know you guys don't like Doc very much, but I think Doc Rivers deserves to be top 15. You can't tell me that there are 21 better NBA coaches right now than Doc Rivers.
Sure, yeah.
So I think this list is, but I mean, this kind of goes back to us talking about lists and stuff, rankings and stuff over the summer.
Clickbait.
Yeah, it's just fucking, it's bullshit, dude. I mean, nobody's list is perfect. This list is especially bad. So I see even with your green glasses on, this list sucks, but.
I will say this: the Celtics all came back a week early before training camp. We didn't see that energy from the Denver Nuggets last year, and we all know Mike Malone's a great coach too, right? This team is bought in the way that they're coming in with the same energy into this year after winning a chip. This is the kind of energy the team that just lost in the finals usually comes into next season with, right?
They have the right amount of psychos on that team. They got JB and Joe, who are kind of just out in outer space, and then Tatum is very much grounded, both feet on the ground, and then everybody else Al is kind of floating in between.
He retired.
No.
Al's
coming back 1 more year. He's retiring next year.
I thought he said he retired.
No.
He's on the books for $9.5 million. He's getting his.
Kev, that's a good point. Kev literally just said it looks like CBS blind ranked this list. Facts. No, Rowdy, we haven't yet. We're going to in a minute. So you're good. Just sit back, relax. We'll get there.
But yeah, that's all I gotta say on this. So, do you want to add anything?
No, it is what it is. They're trying to. We're talking about it. They
authority. They just pissed me off.
Yeah, there's a production assistant somewhere that put this list together. That's check. People are talking about it.
Yeah,
they probably blind ranked it, and then they were like, "Oh, this is great content. Let's just post it."
Yes, he got a tattoo. He's a champ. Leave it alone, ma.
That's not even his worst tattoo. Come on, people have bad tattoos.
He's got bad tattoos.
Yeah.
But speaking of bad things, let's talk about a bad take from Kendrick Perkins. As we all saw, Woj is done. ESPN put a lot of stock in these kind of reactionary takes and breaking news before Shams and doing all of this nonsense. But my bozo is ESPN because now Shams is gone. Now you don't have any substance. You were breaking news.
You mean Woj is gone?
Yeah, Woj is gone. Also, Shams will probably end up there. We all know that. But
yeah,
Kendrick Perkins I know this is super lame, but that's why I have to show it because it's the state of our media. Kendrick Perkins said today when he saw the 76ers re-sign Joel Embiid that he thought Daryl Morey was a bad mother holy bleep on air, and everyone clapped and said it was. Here, I got the clip. I'll show it to you. My whole point is that this is such a stupid take, and this is what like is passing to be on ESPN. ESPN is absolutely fucked if this is all they have going forward.
Daryl Morey is a bad mother holy bleep. That's what I thought. Did I do that pretty good, Zach?
You said holy bleep. That's even cornier.
I like it, Perk. I like it.
Listen, take it. Take it.
Think about Daryl Morey.
And Zach Lowe cheering him on.
Searching for a championship. We understand as the guy that's leading the org.
The rest of the clip does not matter at all. My whole point here is that Daryl Morey did what he was supposed to do. He re-signed his superstar after they went and signed another old superstar, and they already have a guy in Tyrese Maxey that they think is a superstar. Daryl Morey literally did his job, and he's calling him a bad bleep on fucking ESPN like it's a good segment. The thing we should be talking about is like shit like why Jamal Murray didn't get 5 years. When you re-signed with the franchise that drafted you, your whole thing is, hey, I can get a 5-year extension with this team. Jamal Murray only got a 4-year extension, and he signed that extension way later than his draft peers. Those are the interesting stories in the NBA. Shit like this, calling him a bad mother bleep for doing his job and re-signing the best player on his team after they have 2 superstars already, and everyone is saying that they're a title contender. This is fucking like the simplest shit in the world. This is not interesting. The Jamal Murray story should be interesting, but no one's talking about that.
Nobody, bro.
Well,
Nobody. How is this news right now? He just, like you said, so he did his job. And not only that, it's not like he got him on a discount. It's not like Joel did anything like Jalen Brunson did. Like we talked less about Jalen Brunson and what I can't remember what the GM's name is. But he's also an absolute, like he's a great GM. He's got these guys to buy into the system. But the thing is we're really gonna sit here and slobber over Daryl Morey because he just handed Joel one of the richest contracts in the NBA right now. He handed him $300 million, and everybody's like, "Oh, good job, Daryl Morey." And the pile just sits there. They just sit there.
Yep.
The crazy thing too to me, which we can kind of talk about this Joel contract a little bit in part of this is like it's a 5-year extension. And I mean, we've talked about Joel a lot on this show. None of us are big Joel fans, and I have no bias towards Joel Embiid whatsoever, except for the fact I just don't think he's worth the hype that he gets. Those last 3 years of that contract are going to be like fucking stanky eggs in the trash can, man. Those are going to be some stank years on that contract, especially when they're having to pay out the ass. Because you can't tell me that Joel Embiid's going to play 5 more seasons without missing 100 games.
Yeah.
And like I think it's a bad financial investment. They had to do it. They had no choice.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't going to not sign him. But like, I just am shocked that happened. And it's crazy. We got another sub bang too. Let's go.
Oh, DJ, what's up?
What up, DJ? Thanks for the sub, brother.
Gonna hit like crack as a Celtics fan when he requests to trade in 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. Just for you, DJ. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Wins the game at the buzzer.
All right, boys. Bozos all around. I mean, ESPN just is casting L's constantly. We talked about Mel Kiper yesterday. Kendrick Perkins been a bozo. And they let fucking they let, Tim Legler walk. Weirdos.
Can we just cap it off with this? Fuck them, bozos.
The appropriate ending. But chat, you're not bozos. Neither are we. Let's talk about the NFL week 3. We have a beautiful slate in front of us of games. We just had an interesting game last night. Didn't quite play out kind of how everybody was thinking. The Jets got the job done. My Ramondre Stevenson carries play never had a pulse. As soon as I saw the world on it, I knew it was caked, but I'd already bet it. So I was like, all right, whatever. Let's dive in and go game by game, boys. Chat, if you guys are wanting to drop your plays as we talk about an individual game, feel free to do so. If you have questions about a game when we get there, we are going to go, like I said, game by game, kind of lab it up with you guys live. give our plays. V has a lot of props. I already have 5 bets already as well for week 3. Sook doesn't have anything laid out yet, but he might find some stuff as we're talking, so we can get down to it. Let's get to it right now. Let me share my screen here and give you guys the live lines right here on BetOnline. There we go. All right, so zoom in just a skosh here. There we go. All right, first game, Chargers taking on the Steelers, boys. The Chargers are 2.5 point underdogs as we sit right now. The Steelers are 2.5 point favorites. This game is in Pittsburgh. The over-under is set at 34.5. Crazy low. Justin Herbert apparently is dealing with a high ankle sprain. I don't know if you guys saw the news today, but that happened. That got dropped earlier this afternoon. So it's looking like this line is kind of indicative of that. What do you guys think about this game? You guys got any thoughts on this one? Weird news with Justin Herbert. I don't think he's going to miss the game, but it's looking like he might not suit it up. We're going to get another week of Justin Fields as well, starting for the Steelers, I'm pretty sure. What do you guys think about this game?
Man, I really think that this is the game where we decide and we see, are the Chargers for real or are the Steelers for real? The thing that kind of scares me right now is that this spread, I wasn't expecting when this line came out for the Steelers to be sitting here as a 2.5 point favorite, especially with the way the Chargers have kind of run the ball in the first 2 weeks. That's exactly the way we know that Harbaugh likes to run his offense. He's been stacking the line of scrimmage with 2-3 tight ends at times, something we haven't seen in the NFL in a long, long time. Like if you look at the formations he was running at Michigan and you liken them to the ones he's been running right now, almost band for band, exactly. Like it's like he stole his own flow from fucking Michigan. He's running the ball and he's running it hard. But the thing is this Steelers front 7 is probably the best in the league. TJ Watt has been winning them games since fucking Ben Roethlisberger left, and I do not know how he continues to do it from a defensive line position. He has been hounding opposing quarterbacks. He's only got 2 sacks on the year, but it feels like he's got so many more. You know what I mean? I really think that the Chargers could have a little bit of a hard time running the ball here, and Herbert really makes me ask questions just because TJ Watt on the other side of that line, like that's not the guy that you want to see when you're a little bit hobbled or a little less mobile. So I think I'm going to be riding with the Steelers, but on the money line, outside of that, I don't know what I want to play in this game just yet. What about you boys?
This game kind of susses me out, especially with the news we just discussed of Justin Herbert not being maybe 100% healthy in this game. J.K. Dobbins has been awesome for the Chargers so far, leading the league in rushing to start the season. But if you look at his advanced numbers, he's averaging like almost 9 yards a carry, boys.
Yep.
That's not sustainable. He's getting crazy. And I mean, Steelers, as we know, is one of the best defensive teams in football. They are not going to let J.K. Dobbins run all over them in this game. I like the under. If I was going to play this one, probably going to have no plays in this game. I don't like this game at all. I mean, maybe the Steelers win this game, boys. I could see the Steelers stealing one. The Chargers have been sneaky so far to start the season, but they're 2-0. I think they're probably maybe one of the faker 2-0 teams so far. I think the Steelers could maybe come out and get a dub at home and wipe the floor with them. But I don't think I'm going to bet this game at all.
I mean, you boys know me. I like to do little 2-teamers. I did the Saints and Bucks in week 1. I stayed off of it in week 2. I think week 3, definitely a piece for a 2-teamer for me will be the Steelers money line. I think they get it done. I think what like V is saying, we're going to kind of see what team is real. And I honestly weirdly think the Steelers are real. That coaching staff has proven it time and time again. Why doubt them now? Justin Fields, while he hasn't like broken doors down and really been like a barn buster or anything, he hasn't been horrible. He hasn't been turning the ball over to like a tremendously horrible degree. I think this is a team that has weapons. I know Najee Harris, people don't believe in him either, and he's had some big plays. I think this Chargers team has kind of relied on JK having big play after big play after big play, and I don't think that's sustainable at all here. So I think the Pittsburgh Steelers kind of sneak this one out. A minus 145 on the money line, I'll definitely be putting that in a little 2-teamer come Sunday.
A minus 145 is not terrible juice either. I mean, if you just want to play it straight right now.
Yeah.
I was talking about this too at the barbershop this morning. I really feel like the NFL is the sharpest. Well, we know it's the sharpest league. That's a fact. But because it's the sharpest league, this is when line reads come into play here. The Chargers look like the better team on paper because they have the better QB. They have a few more weapons offensively. And the Steelers are a team that nobody really had doing super well this season. Now they're 2-0. They lead the division. Both the Ravens and the Bengals, both teams that were predicted to win this division, are 0-2, right? It's a tough position for them to be in, but the line and Vegas telling us that they lean with the Steelers also makes me just want to lean with the Steelers. So I'm with Sook, and I think I will be throwing this in a 2-3-teamer when the time comes on Sunday.
I gotta check what my boy Pat F's fucking yards is. It was smacked 2 weeks in a row.
I looked at that, Sook, actually, and because I was thinking about playing this, because I also just dropped my prop article. If you guys want to go take a gander at that at Betting News, I was looking at that when I was kind of diving into some props. I think it was 34.5. And the Chargers actually are kind of struggle against tight ends. So it's not a bad play, brother. I like his receptions too. I was looking at both of them, but you brought my attention to him. He's been great so far to start the season. And as I said, the Chargers actually do kind of struggle with the tight end position from a receptions perspective. So I like that play. Have to take a gander at that. Anything else on this one, boys, or do you guys want to move on and go to the next one?
I do want to go back to Pickens this week, maybe to get in the end zone, but I need to do a little more research on this game before I make that pick. He had a bunch of opportunities last week, but some PIs.
Yeah. He had shit one called back, dude. Big shit called back.
Pass interference. I think that he's super due. I think he gets in the end zone. I like the connection he's developing with Justin Fields and their kind of chemistry. So I think I'm going to play that. I just haven't locked it in yet.
I love that, V.
I do too. I like that as well. All leaning pretty heavy Steelers directions, sounds like. So chat, I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts on that, but see what happens. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about.
By the way, it's not a panel unless there's at least 4 of us. So if the 3 of us agree on a play, it's okay. Before at the panel.
what we could do.
Stooges. This isn't a full panel.
Yeah, exactly. The saucy 3. What we could do is while we're labbing things up, if we do find stuff that we really like, we could maybe make like a little 3-team parlay of like a money line play or 3 props we really like, and have it be the saucy 3 that we would ride out until Sunday.
Lock it in, forget about it, and then on Sunday when it hits, we are all happy and surprised.
Exactly. We could do that. So Steelers money line maybe is a potential candidate for that, but we'll see what happens after we get through everything. Okay, next up, Bears, Colts. The Colts, this is a pick 'em pretty much, -110 on both sides. This is in Indianapolis. The over-under is set at 43.5. 2 teams, the Bears should be 2-0, or excuse me, the Bears should be 0-2. The Colts are 0-2. Both of these teams needing a dub to kind of get their season maybe geared back in the correct direction. However, the Colts rushing defense is awful. Their defense in general is awful. We saw what the Bears have done over the past couple of weeks as well. Their offensive line looks very bad. This game's kind of gross too. I don't really like a side in this one either. I think I'd lean with the Colts if I had to choose one, but what do you guys think about this one?
I think it's important to note that the Colts, while they haven't looked great, they haven't gotten their ass beaten at all yet.
True.
I will say this. Your boy wrote about this game, so I dove pretty deep into this one. There are a couple plays that I like. And one of the things that is super interesting to me this week in general, not just in this game, but are teams that are entering this week 0-2. The 0-3 start to a season is one of the most detrimental things that can happen to your postseason aspirations, and it can kill a season before it even gets going. We've got a couple teams that were honestly potential playoff teams that are looking like they might be like on the chopping block. We've got the Bengals this week. We've got the Ravens this week. And another team I'm looking at is the Colts. The reason I'm looking at the Colts is they're fighting for their life. Richardson left last year in game 4 of the season. Through the first 3 weeks, he scored 4 touchdowns just on the ground. He was lighting it up on the ground. He has been doing the same thing this year. Last week against this Packers team. Now, Packers defense is really, really underrated. It's not the one that's going to smash you in the mouth, but they finished with 3 interceptions last week. They got to him a fair amount. The pressure was on, and he could not escape the pocket. He finished with, I think, less than 50 yards on the ground on just 6 carries and didn't get into the end zone. I really think that this is the week against Caleb Williams and against the Bears front 7 that has been kind of like threatening in these first few games. The Bears defense is the reason that they have even 1 win this year, right? I really think that because of that, Anthony Richardson's going to have to get out of the pocket, get a little creative to get into the end zone, and I'm taking his touchdown at plus 100, even money. He's getting one in the end zone. He is super due after the way he played last week. They scored 10 points as an offense last week after they scored 27 points against the Texans in week 1. It was not the kind of game you come to expect from this high-octane offense with the Colts. And I really think that this week against Caleb Williams and company, he gets one into the end zone. Before I let you guys talk about that one, I have one more play. It's the opposite QB. We're going to Caleb Williams, over 21.5 rushing yards. I love this play. He's been sacked the most of any QB in the league so far outside of Jacoby Brissett, but that's because he played last night. He's been sacked 9 times. He's being pressured he's being blitzed on 24% of plays, and that is 4th most in the NFL right now. His offensive line has been abysmal, and he's taking hit after hit after hit. Through 2 games, he's been sacked 9 times. He's been knocked down 6 times, and he has been pressured an insane amount. When he's not pressured, he is good in the pocket. He's finding his receivers, and he's moving the ball downfield. I think that this week, because of the way the Colts played at home in week 1, they had 4 sacks against CJ Stroud, and they did a really bad job at stopping the run. We saw that last week against Josh Jacobs, and we saw it again the week before. They gave up 44 yards on the ground to Malik Willis, and Willis wasn't even looking to run the ball that much last week. This week, I think Caleb Williams is going to have to escape the pocket, move the chains with his feet a little bit, and he's carried the ball on five times in back-to-back games. Last week, running the ball for 44 yards. I really like the over 21.5 this week, and I think that he gets the job done. I did sprinkle the touchdown at plus 275.
I like that bet a lot. I mean, we talked about this Colts team over the last couple of weeks, and I think that even now they're the worst rushing defense in the entire NFL, and they might go down as one of the worst rushing defenses in the entire NFL a lot throughout the whole season. DeForest Buckner just got put on IR, who's really important to their defensive line. Their gap discipline, if you watch some of their tape, is not very good. Josh Jacobs, like you said, just went absolutely bananas last week against them. I can't even remember who they played week 1.
Texans. Mixon had 159 yards. Same Texans team only had 57 yards between their 2 running backs in week 2. So it's not like it was a rushing attack. The Colts just suck.
Yeah,
I got a question.
Very good defensively.
Since you dive so deep into this game, Anthony Richardson's completions are about 17.5 most places. He's only hit that once in his career. I know short career. But do you think that you can get it plus money some places? Would you be tempted to take that?
The over? No. Just because his completion rate is really, really bad. I don't think he's even had a 60% completion rate game. So it's just one of those things. And you're getting a Bears defense that is honestly really, really tough through the air. They're going to beat you up. They're going to rush you, and they're going to blitz quite a bit. So I just feel like because of that, I'm going to stay off of Richardson. But
very trappy, right?
Very trappy, it seems like.
Yeah. The last thing on that point too is that a lot of like pretty advanced guys who break down tape, like Greg Cosell and Brian Baldinger and these types of guys who you can trust to watch tape. Anthony Richardson has a couple really amazing splash plays, but then if you watch the rest of his tape, dude, he can't even throw a fucking like 5-yard out. Like his accuracy is all over the place. It happened at Florida when he came out. Like people were kind of thinking that he could be, maybe it could get better, but his accuracy is really sus, especially through the middle of the field. And I think that that's going to end up being an issue for this team moving forward. But
we see it with the athletic quarterbacks. They kind of rely on the big play. And then
last season was supposed to be the season that he kind of developed that aspect of his game because he was hurt all year. He didn't practice, right? Yeah. So he didn't get to kind of develop his game in that kind of sense, especially at game speed.
Develop your quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And after watching, I know you probably watched the Packers last week, V, in this game, but Anthony Richardson basically handed the Packers this game on a silver platter. Like 3 interceptions, a couple bad ones too, like throws you just can't make that. And I mean, I'm a Titans fan, so I've seen bad turnovers that cost teams games. Like those are the types that you can't make those decisions and win football games. And that could be a theme for this team throughout the season. So anything else on this one, boys? Yeah, as B said, he wrote about this game. If you go peep the scribbles for this one. We actually now at Betting News, because we have a bigger team, we cover every single game pretty much in the NFL. So if you like peeping the scribbles while you're doing your daily activities, if you're in the bathroom or whatever it may be, go peep the scribbles. Go find out kind of some inside analytics on what we're looking at on a game-to-game basis, and get involved. So I think if I had to lean a direction, just out of desperation, I'd take the Colts on the money line. Purely because they don't want to go 0-3, and I don't think the Bears are actually very good either. And I mean, Jonathan Taylor's good, and I mean, I wanted to take DeAndre Swift, his rushing yards, because the Colts defense is so fucking bad, but he's been taught pretty bad to start the season too.
24 carries, 2 games. Like, what are we doing? And it's not like Rashawn Johnson hasn't even touched the field yet. So I really don't know what's going on in that backfield. It's kind of why I went with Caleb.
Yeah,
Makes
and
sense.
like you guys are saying, this Bears defense is no slouch. So I'm kind of scared of even taking Pittman this week because he's kind of been targeted a lot this season, but hasn't really done shit.
I think they also have somebody coming back into the fold too, which might kind of influence his target share in the negative direction. I can't remember who it was though.
Josh Downs,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Alec Pierce is a good target. I mean, I think Prindy has his receptions. I don't hate that play too. But yeah, this game is just yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about this another AFC South team, the best of the best in the AFC South. The Texans. Taking on the Vikings. 1 point underdogs are the Vikings at home against the Texans right now. Over under set at 46. Vikings, one not surprise 2-0 team, but one surprise 2-0 team in the Minnesota Vikings. Guys, what do you guys think about this game? It's just kind of a weird line. Justin Jefferson was kind of banged up near the end of the week last week against the Niners. The Vikings obviously got, huge win at home against the Niners last week that nobody really gave them a half a chance. But it's the Texans, man, and the Texans look legit. What do you guys think?
I agree with Prendy. Why is this line where it's sitting at? What is going on here? Mm-hmm. Are the Vikings fucking for real? Is that what's happening? I know that like home field means a lot. And as a guy that was in on Sam Darnold before the preseason started, then was out on Sam Darnold once the preseason started, and now I'm back in on this guy. I have no idea what's going on in Minnesota, but Sam Darnold looks fine. And we can call that 97-yard touchdown to Justin Jefferson lucky because it was 97 yards, but it wasn't. It was a beautifully thrown ball over the middle. He had the safeties beat. It was drawn up perfectly. And
that's how you beat too high, chat. And that's how you beat too high right there.
There's really not a lot of coaches in the league that would call that fucking play, especially if Matt Stafford's starting under center. So obviously this Vikings team and this coaching staff sees something at practice and during training camp that we don't see. And maybe Vegas is in on it because this line doesn't really make any sense to me. I don't know what I want to take in this game. I do want to dabble with JJ if he's healthy. But again, with that being a question mark still, I haven't locked anything in yet. But I kind of lean with the over just because of how these offenses have been and the big playability from both sides. I still think that Tank Dell is due for one of those fucking big games where he has 180 yards on 4 catches and a touchdown.
Brian Flores, who's the defensive coordinator in Minnesota, became relatively infamous because of his comments and his kind of failures as the Miami Dolphins head coach. But Flores is a really, really, really good defensive coach, and he's got that Vikings defense playing really good right now. And I thought the Texans actually kind of played with their food a little bit on Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football against the Bears. Like they didn't turn the screw. And I think to watch a team turn elite in front of your eyes, you want to see them kind of pound teams that they're supposed to instead of let them hang around. Because if you let teams hang around in the NFL, you're going to lose some games that you should win. Maybe that was a little bit of a wake-up call for them, and they come into this Vikings game with a little bit more like, all right, let's not fuck around. Let's beat this team that we should probably beat on paper. So I'm with you, dude, though. I think that this Vikings team is a little bit more legit than people are giving them credit for. I liked Sam Darnold coming into this season. I think no one could tell you that they were expecting him to be as good as he has been. If they were, maybe they're a Vikings fan and that's about it. But I think this should be a fun game. I like the over too. I think if I had to bet a side or a total, I would take the over, the 43, and just hope for a really solid, amazing game down up in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be very interesting to see because Houston hasn't really faced a quarterback. We just shit on a couple of guys, Anthony Richardson, Caleb Williams, not being very good in the pocket, and that's who the Texans have faced. While the other guy who they're facing in week 3 is very good in the pocket, is a seasoned vet, and I really like his yards. I'm seeing it on different books around 230. He had 208 in a beat him up against the Giants in week 1 and about 260-something in week 2. So I think if you can get that around 230, I think I'm definitely going to play Sam Darnold passing yards as a straight here, just because this Texans defense hasn't been fully tested by a pocket quarterback yet. And I think here if you think the Texans aren't that good and they're 2-0, but the Vikings are that good and they're 2-0, that's because of Sam Darnold. So Sam Darnold's probably going to have another good outing at 230. I think that line is just low enough that I feel very, very comfortable playing that as like a very confident straight come Sunday.
I like that a lot.
I do too. Well, and I think that it's kind of foolproof on either side, because if you think about it, pretty sure Justin Jefferson's going to play in this game. I think he got banged up, but I think from what I've seen, he's going to play. It's kind of twofold. Like if the Vikings are going to win this game, it's probably because Sam Darnold is having success throwing the football. If the Vikings are losing this game, then what is Sam Darnold going to have to do? Throw the football. Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of like either one is working. And I agree, dude. I think the Texans defense hasn't been tested. We're going to find out a little bit more this week if they can actually get the job done a little bit more than what we've seen so far. But I like the over. I'd be down to actually maybe put this over as one of our saucy 3 bets. I really like this over a lot.
Okay. JJ is in from Austin.
Yeah. Thank God. He's in my fantasy team. Guys, anything else on this one? You want to keep it moving?
Let's keep it moving.
Mm-hmm. All right. Keep it rolling. Chat, hope you guys are enjoying the show so far. It's fun to talk ball again, boys. Man, we had to deal with so much shit over the summer. It's fun to talk some actual games. All right, next up, Giants, Browns. The Giants are 6.5-point underdogs in Cleveland. The over-under for this one is 38.5, a little bit on the lower side for this one. 2 offenses that are kind of sputtering at the moment. We finally saw Malik Neighbors break out last week. Daniel Jones decided to throw him the football a lot, got his touchdown, got 100 yards, but they still lost the game against the Commanders, even though they didn't score a touchdown. I have a play in this game that I don't think a lot of people are going to probably want to take, but I'm going to go ahead and rock and roll with it right now. The Browns are very banged up in the backfield right now. They have Jerome Ford. Obviously, Nick Chubb is still not back. The other 2 guys that they have on their depth chart in the running back position are 2 guys whose names I cannot remember right now, are not playing in this game. So they have Journeyman that's going to be coming in, who was awesome last week, and I'm going to go straight back to him again today. Deonta Foreman. Over 41.5 rushing yards. He had 42 last week. He out-touched Jerome Ford in the backfield. He had 14 carries in that game. The Giants are the 4th worst rushing defense in the entire NFL. I think the Browns are going to want to keep this nice and simple, not make it complicated, and just run the fucking football against the Giants and take it straight to them at home. I love this line for Foreman. I think he could totally get 50 plus if he gets the 14, 15 carries again, which is what we saw last week. Kind of a sneaky play, but I really like this line. I waited for it to drop. It didn't come out immediately, and I think he and Ford are going to be splitting carries again. So give me down to Foreman. Watched him a lot in Tennessee. Was great in Carolina before he kind of just became moving around all over the place. But he's got some juice, boys. He can run the football. I really like, and I also like that his touchdown is it's like minus 110 or like plus 115 for him to score a touchdown, which for a backup running back makes 0 sense. So I think he's gonna have a good day on the ground. Give me the 41.5 rushing yards.
This is the real most disgusting game of the week, I think.
I was gonna say, if you think nobody's gonna want to take that, even less people are gonna want to take what I'm taking in this game, and I might be unhinged. I don't know what it is, but I'm rolling with the Giants plus 6.5. So that's 6.5, right? Yeah, plus 6.5. I don't know why. I don't believe in this Browns team. SPJ, I really don't. I think Deshaun Watson is terrible. I think that he doesn't understand how to run an actual NFL offense. And I think that this Giants team has not been as bad as people think. Last week, they were a kicker away from winning the game. You know what I mean? Yes, I know that they gave up 7 field goals, and they're the only team in NFL history to score 3 touchdowns and still lose to a team that scored none, but they had no kicker. And kicking, when you are the only team without a kicker, it becomes one of the biggest parts of the game. At the end of that game against the Commanders, they should have been within field goal range and kicking a field goal. Instead, they're going for it on 4th and 8 because they don't have a kicker. They missed 2 2-point tries and an extra point. There's so many points that this team left on the table. And what I'm liking most is the connection that Daniel Jones and Malik Neighbors are kind of developing. I will always respect a quarterback that feeds his top guy more than a quarterback that throws fewer interceptions. If you're not putting the ball, or at least trying to put the ball in your playmaker's hands and your best guys' hands, you're not going to win games. And Daniel Jones, I've spent a lot of time on this show over the last 2 seasons talking a lot of shit on that guy. But the one thing that I've seen him now do is you get a top target, you use the top target. It's really that simple.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't had a guy like that in like 3 or 4 seasons. He finally does again, and he's using him. I think because of that connection that they have, this is going to be one of those spots where I think everybody's looking to take the Browns. I know that they're a high pick in the survivor pool as well this week. In survivor pools everywhere, I just think that this is going to be one of those games where the Giants at least make everybody sweat this one out. So I'm taking the plus 6.5. I have sprinkled the money line. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why I paired it with the Packers, but I did, and it is what it is.
What do you think about the kid? If you think they're going to be successful, do you think Malik Neighbors goes off again?
Yes, I played him back-to-back weeks. His target share has been fantastic. He finally got in the end zone last week. He should have had almost 2, I think, and now he's getting this Cleveland defense who, in my opinion, is getting a lot of hype for how good they used to be. I don't think we saw the Cowboys turn up on them in week 1. They had who they play in week 2?
The Jags.
The fucking Jags, and we've seen how bad the Jaguars have been to start this year, so that wasn't an impressive win to me whatsoever. I'm going with the Giants here. I think Neighbors also has a big game. I haven't touched that button yet, but the plus 6.5, the plus 250, those have both been locked in.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of the talking heads talked about how the Jags lost that game. They made poor decisions, coaching staff and quarterback, to lose that game.
Oh yeah,
it's a common thread in Duval. Trevor Lawrence likes to do that. Wasn't worth the pennies. I like the Neighbors play. He's on my fantasy team too, but I think that he should have a good chance to have a nice week again. I mean, who else is going to fucking catch the ball for the Giants?
His line is low 60s again, which he cleared both weeks.
Facts. I kind of lean with you, V. I'm not going to bet this 6.5 because but I think I lean also that direction too. I don't like this Browns team whatsoever. Good question, Prindy. We will drop an update on that after this week, after week 3, and let you guys know how we're doing. I'm 1-1, thank God. V is muted, so he's muted.
Sorry, I don't know how that happened, but I was gonna say let's maybe not do it this week because I'm getting my shit kicked. So.
Oh, well, there's your answer, Prindy. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's go to this Eagles Saints game. This one should be fun. Eagles coming off that crazy loss on Monday Night Football to the Falcons. The Saints, probably the surprise team of the entire NFL so far. 2-0, sitting at the top of the the NFC South with your Buccaneers, which we'll get there in a little bit. Saints are 2.5-point favorites in this game in the Dome, down in the Bayou, and then the over-under is set at 49.5. I have a play in this game. It's probably my favorite play of the entire slate. It is a prop. I'm taking Alvin Kamara. I took him over 63.5 rushing yards. It is up to 64.5, 65.5 in some places. I don't care. I'm taking it again. He's been one of the best running backs so far to start the season. And we've already seen what the Eagles have done from a ground defense perspective. You saw it week 1, V, in the game in Sao Paulo. Josh Jacobs ran all over them in week 1. And then in week 2 against the Eagles, we saw what Bijan Robinson did against them on Monday Night Football. They've allowed 150 plus yards on the ground to the running backs' rooms of both of the first 2 weeks of the season. I think that we see that continue again. Alvin Kamara, kind of like what we mentioned with J.K. Dobbins, is averaging a little over 5 yards a carry because his carries have been a little bit lower. But the difference between him and Dobbins in comparison to this week for me is that this matchup is really nice. The Eagles bottom 7 in the NFL to yards per play to the running back position, allowing a little over 5 yards a carry as well. I think the Saints are going to look to attack the Eagles on the ground, and I think that that's going to continue with Kamara. You can take his rushing and receiving if you want to, 102.5. But I like Kamara here on the ground at the 6. I got 63.5. It's 64.5. I laddered it to 100. So give me Kamara in this game. I also kind of lean with the Saints too.
I fully agree, SPJ. I was looking at some, because their car has been an absolute fucking gunslinger through the first 2 weeks, and I'm loving it because I know that we're all sweating out that little.
The guy above you tried to tell us.
Exactly. I took it, so I'm sweating it out with you. But it's been nice to see him playing like this, and I don't think that he's gonna have a bad game. But I just think that everybody's going to come into this game looking for some props like that, like some Rashid Shaheed props, some Chris Olave finally had a good, decent game last week, right? Some kind of props like that. But like you said, this Eagles front seven has been decimated. They lost Fletcher Cox to injury. It's not injury, sorry, retirement. Hassan Reddick is still in a contract dispute with the fucking Jets, and guys like Jalen Carter and everybody else on this offensive line went from these like big Georgia Bulldogs to looking like little puppies through the first 2 weeks. They're missing tackles. They're not putting any pressure on the quarterback. And I think that Alvin Kamara, of all guys, is going to make them pay. This guy looks like he's playing with new life. Like, I haven't seen him play like this in almost like 3 seasons, it feels like. He's going to win leagues in fantasy. He's going to make us a lot of money this year. Take his lines while they sit this low. Grab his touchdown before it's sitting at minus 200. I love Kamara this week. I love your prop. I read the entire write-up that you had earlier this week when you posted it. Or no, sorry, that was on the article that hasn't been posted yet, that only I've read. But yeah. I love this play. I love
it's
Kamara.
Coming. It's coming.
And that's the only thing that I'm taking from this game, is I'm tailing you on Kamara.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I mean, it's one of those lines that just makes too much sense. And I mean, sometimes they don't smack, obviously, but like, I just don't see that like, if the matchup lines up with what is going to happen from the offensive perspective and what they do successfully right now, it's just going to keep happening. Like, until the Eagles prove that they can stop running backs on the ground, other teams that especially have a good rushing attack are just going to keep running the football. So, yeah. I'm glad you took that season-long proc for Derek Carr, dude. Like, he's been slinging the fucking football over the place, man.
I want to say one more time against this Eagles team, because I just want to see Philly fans in piss. It's just so much fun.
Oh, they're going to be. The Falcons don't really have a wide receiver room that kind of inspires fear in the other team. I mean, Mooney, we saw him have some big plays. A lot of people aren't high on Drake London. I am. I think he's good. But the Saints have a lot of weapons. They've been doing great all season, and I don't think it stops here. And I said the Steelers for a two-teamer. I tossed in the Saints as well, plus 174.
I fuck with that, Suck. I do, but Kadar hates us right now. He really hates us.
I mean,
I hope you step on a Lego. On a Lego. It's the greatest fucking diss of all time. That's amazing.
Oh my God.
Kadar, what's your favorite play in this game?
Do you have any positive things to say? I kind of like Saquon too. I think Saquon can have a good game from the Eagles side of things. But
he's getting in the end zone this week. After all the hoopla last week, he's getting in the end zone this week.
He's looked shifty and he's bouncing off tackles. Saquon, I will say, is the lone bright spot for the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
And the push is still working. Sure.
Yeah. I think it's the Saints or nothing for me. I don't think I'm going to bet the Saints minus 2.5, but I think that feels like the line.
Money line it with the Steelers with me, plus 174.
Hey, there you go. That could be it. I'm down to do that as 2 of our legs of the Saucy 3 if you guys want.
We just need.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to the next one. Chad, drop a dub if you're enjoying the conversation so far about week 3. Boys, it's so fun just talking football, baby. All right, let's keep it moving. Your squad. Let's go. The Buccaneers. Looking to take on the Denver Broncos this week. 6.5-point favorites are the Bucs at home. Another surprise 2-0 team. Not surprising to Sook, but surprising to everybody else. 6.5-point underdogs are the Broncos on the road here. The over-under set at 41. Sook, I'll let you lead us off with this one, brother. What do you think about your team this week? You think they go to 3-0?
They're going to 3-0. I don't know how it happens. The 6.5 definitely scares me, but we saw in week 2, this team knows how to win. We had injuries coming into the game. We had injuries in the game with Vita Vea. We had that Hutchinson boy running all around, getting 5 sacks, looking like he was making life horrible for this Buccaneers offense. But what happened? Baker found a way to win. Baker found a way to get Chris Godwin the ball. I think this week we're going to see Mike Evans kind of take over. He's been playing a lot of decoy while Godwin has been sitting comfy in the slot, getting open as the defense kind of overreacts to Evans going deep. So this week, I think definitely we see another Bucs win, but the 6.5 scares the crap out of me. I just think this team is going to do what they did in week 2 and find a way to win. And I don't know if you boys know this, but no one has been thrown against more in the NFL besides the Bucs secondary, and we have not given up a passing touchdown. This team has been counted out again and again and again, has so much continuity. I talked about this before. Something like 44 out of the 53-man roster was drafted or unsigned free agents. This team has a lot of continuity. They believe in themselves. They think they're a Super Bowl contender. They've proved it for 2 weeks. They're going to prove it again against a mediocre Broncos team.
I love it. I love it. I can't bet this game. It's not a lot of games this week that I won't bet. It's just because the Bucks are one of my main survivor picks this week. So I really just don't want to fuck around and cause myself to jinx anything because I can't. I have this rule: if I have them as survivor, I cannot bet them on the money line or the spread because that's just asking for karma to kick me right in my fucking teeth. But look, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I agree. I think they should win this game. The spread is a little sketchy, but I think they should beat the Broncos. Just to mention this, because Shags brought it up last week, and it was air, and Kadar just brought it up in the chat too, taking Lamar Mayfield rushing yards again. It's 9.5 again.
Yeah.
Minus 128. It's a little juiced, but I mean, he's probably going to scramble for a 10-yard carry at some point. The Broncos defense is actually pretty good.
I think the snipe with that is that Baker's never had 20. I think he's never had a 25-yard run, and his longest touchdown run of his career was last week at 11 yards. So you always see that line at like 7.5, 9.5, and Baker's good for about 15 yards a game. You're gonna sweat it out, but second or third quarter, he's gonna have that break run where you cash your whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love when Shaggy plays the Baker rushing yards.
He's probably going to play it again this week. He should. I might play it. Mike, Takeover and B is asking about Evans' touchdown. I am a little sussed out by Evans this week because the Broncos have one of the best cover corners in the NFL, and I can't remember his name right now. His name is escaping me. But Surtain.
Patrick Surtain.
Surtain, yeah. He's really, really good. And I think that he will probably be shadowing Evans, if not just locked up with him all day. So that would be my only concern. It's Mike Evans. So, he's going to get his in certain aspects, but Surtain's really good. So that would be my only...
Devil's advocate on the other side, as a Bucks fan, he's been playing a lot of decoy. He's been going off to the sidelines, letting McMillan do a little big play action. But this week, Chef was just texting me about this right before we went live. We both think Mike Evans gets in the red zone this week.
I was in the end zone.
Yeah,
I was going to say that. I was going to say, if you're going to play Mike, take the touchdown, I think, because like we saw with Garrett Wilson yesterday, Christian Gonzalez, another elite defensive back in the NFL, right? He didn't have the best week too. I don't think Surtain's had the best weeks 1 through 2. Like he hasn't been as shut down as we've come to expect from him. But in the red zone is when things get tricky, when all of a sudden smaller DBs have to go up against a guy like Mike Evans for a jump ball. Things get a lot tougher when you're jumping up fucking 8 feet in the air trying to come down with a ball. When the opposing guy is fucking 6'5", is that what Evans is or some shit? 6'4".
Yeah, 6'4", 6'5". Yeah.
I love these wide receivers. There's not as many of them in the league anymore, but they're so much fun to watch once you get to the red zone.
Guys, Godwin's, I think it's really important to, like, it cannot be stressed enough. The tricky little shit they've been doing with Godwin has been so intense and it has been working so well that there's no way the Broncos defense, who SPJ is saying has a lot of good personnel, they're gonna react to Godwin, who's been the most successful weapon. People talk about this all the time. Mike Evans is Baker's favorite weapon. Not this season through 2 weeks. So I think we're gonna try to see, like, what's the word? A little positive regression for Mike Evans this week.
And so
positive regression.
Like about the way that Godwin plays in the slot, right? And this is a place that the Broncos have kind of struggled, is in the slot with their third defensive back. And sometimes what that means is teams spend a lot of time focusing on that during the week, especially when you have a guy like Godwin who just had, like, I think almost 10 catches last week, right? Some big number like that. You're going to game plan for this guy because if you have a guy that thrives where you are weakest on your defense, you're going to spend some extra time on that during the week. And because of that, that might mean that Mike Evans is not forgotten about, but just not as much game planning goes into stopping him when you have somebody like Surtain, whereas you need the game planning to stop a guy like Godwin on the inside.
And that's the thing too. We have a new sorry, I can talk about the Bucks all day. We have a new offensive coordinator, and last year we had the least pre-snap action of any NFL team in the league. This year we're top 5, I think, in pre-snap action. We're moving around a lot. I know we'd like to talk about, like, we can look at last year. There's no last year for this Bucks offense. It's only the first 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks, Chris Godwin has been going off. So the team has to adjust to Godwin. Evans is going to have his week. I think the yards do scare me, so I do agree with you boys. I would take just the touchdown.
You know what another way to beat 2 high safeties is? Pre-snap motion. It's another way you can do that. Any chances for, before we move on from this game, just from Kadar, you like Otten receptions this week? Have you looked at that at all?
Oh, what is it? Like, is it 2.5?
Probably 2.5, maybe 3.5. Let me just double check here.
That. I do like that. He's been getting open, but Baker's
2.5 for plus 118.
I do like that. But I'd have to look at it more. I'd have to look at it more before I endorse it.
Nice plus money flyer. Before we move on from this game, I mean, we talked about this one in the NFC South preview, which I wasn't there for, but you guys talked about it, and I was kind of looking at it when I was breaking down this division. I mean, Godwin got as many catches as Mike Evans did last year, if not more. So he is one of Baker's go-to guys last season, and we've already seen that happen to start the season as well. What does it mean? Do we rate our parlays? Do y'all rate parlays? What does that mean?
I think he means
maybe he's asking.
No, rate his parlay.
Oh, I see. Well, let's have a look at it. Murray over 33.5 rushing. Which Murray is that?
I think Kyler.
Oh, Kyler. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Daniel Jones under pass yards. Godwin over 39.5. There's no way his line's 39.5.
Might be alt.
It might be an alt line.
Oh, it's alt lines. Okay. Henry over 49.5. Saquon over 49.5. Ayuk over 49.5.
I like that.
I don't hate any of those.
Yeah, I wrote about Ayuk this week. The only thing that kind of makes me sus is Daniel Jones, because I do think that he could have a big game. But 184 yards is a big number. So I could.
Murray scares me. Murray's the one that scares me the most.
Really?
How's he been running for 2 weeks?
He said 50 rushing yards in the first 2 games.
He's just so small.
He's been scampering all over the place, dude. He's been running
makes
everywhere.
Hard to hit, son.
50 yards in both games. Shout out our friend Adam. He came in spaces and dropped that play. He liked that play a lot, and I was looking at it when he was talking about it.
11 yards a carry?
Yeah, he's been scampering, dude. Yeah.
All right, let's go.
So JMJ, fuck, I can't read. You, my friend, thank you for also being here. Yeah, JGM, we appreciate you being here. W follower, and yeah, there's your answer to your question.
We like it.
Indeed, we like it. We love it. We want some more of it. All right, boys, let's keep going. Vsauce, my guy. Titans taking on the Packers.
I'll stay out of this one completely.
Going head to head. Tennessee Titans are 2.5-point favorites right now. The Packers are 2.5-point underdogs. Over/under set at 38.5. This line has kind of fluctuated throughout the week. It kind of opened up as a 1.5 points, which is when I got it. Then it went up to 2.5 points. Then it dropped back down yesterday to 1.5 when Jordan Love was maybe going to play. I don't think Jordan Love is fucking playing in this game at all. Maybe you have a different opinion of it, V, but I think Malik Willis is going to start this football game. I think that's always been the case. And they've just been saying that just to kind of make sure that the Titans have to maybe prepare for the fact that Jordan Love might get out there, though. I like the Titans in this game. I have them minus 1.5. I booked it earlier this week. I think the Titans defense comes to play in this situation. I think that Malik Willis is going to struggle in this game. We saw the Packers run 50 plus times last week. They ran the ball 50 times. They're not going to do that against the Titans this week, against one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL. I like the Titans. I think they're going to win this game. I am a fan of this team. I have taken them both weeks of the first part of the season, and they should have covered week 1, and honestly, they should have covered last week too. But I'm going down with the ship. I think they get their first win at home against the Packers and Malik Willis. So that's my play. I know Via's on the other side of things, so hit me with your Packers love.
Man, okay, my biggest belief in this team, even last week when I took them, and I'll be the first to admit it. Last week when I took them, 98% of that was 100% a fan bet, right? It is what it is. But the thing is Matt LaFleur, that's his first name. I always forget. But LaFleur is a great head coach. He has always won games. We saw what they did last season, even making the playoffs, winning a playoff game, the way that he's kind of developed Jordan Love. I love the way that he coaches the game. And I think that the Packers defense is something that is underrated year in and year out because their best player on defense is a guy like Jair Alexander, who talks a lot, right? But he backs it up with his play. But people don't like to talk about it. People don't like to put him in those conversations when he is just as much a shutdown corner as other guys in this league, like Patrick Surtain or Trent McDuffie for the Chiefs, or you've got Sauce, or you've got for the Titans, what's his name? That just added him this season. Who did the Titans just add the secondary?
L'Jarius Sneed.
L'Jarius Sneed, there you go, right? Even Isaiah Rodgers, another great addition that the Titans made. But you never hear a guy like Jair talked about these conversations, but he belongs in these conversations. This Packers defense is elite. Yes, I know that the Colts offense didn't look as good last week, and maybe Richardson did throw a couple of errant passes, but the thing is they held them to 10 points. They stuffed the run game, whether it was Jonathan Taylor or whether it was Anthony Richardson. Did a good 100 yards for Jonathan Taylor on I think like 18 carries, right? 19 carries. What was it? Like,
I wouldn't say that's a stuffing, but yeah, okay.
I mean, no touchdowns, 10 points. I like the spot that they were in last week, and I think that this is going to be similar. I don't believe in this Titans offense whatsoever. Like we've talked about it, but I do think that their defense is for real. This defense is a team that I've drafted in like a couple of my fantasy leagues because of their secondary. But the thing is I don't think that the Titans have also faced off against a really good run team this year. They played the Bears in week 1, and then who did they play last week? They played the Jets. The Jets, right? They kind of got gashed by the Jets last week with Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, right? Allen is his last name.
There you go.
Had kind of decent games last week, but I really think that this offensive line for the Packers is a great squad. They don't give up a lot of sacks. They allow their QB to get some time. And I just think that Josh Jacobs has been fantastic to start the season. He had 88 yards in game 1, had 150 or 140 yards in game 2. They're going to have to continuously feed him. And I'm taking the Packers at +2.5. I got them at +133 is what they were sitting at when I got them. I love the value here. I'm obviously a fan. Don't bet with me when it comes to the Packers unless I'm giving you a prop, but I'm taking the Packers, and I have to. I'm not playing the Titans this week, and as much as I talk about the Titans, like it would be insane for me to not back it up with my own fucking coin, right? Perfect opportunity.
What you guys can take away from this, and I mean, it's a close spread. This game, unless you are a fan of one of these teams, I don't suggest you take either spread personally. I think that you should just stay away from a side or a total in this game. There are some props that I think that are worth taking. I really like, I have 2 props. They're both on the Titans side of things. I really like Tony Pollard's rushing yards. It dropped to 59.5. I didn't like it so much at 61.5, but I took it at 59.5. He's hit it in both games to start the season. We've been talking about it. I've been telling you guys, I've cashed both times I've taken it to start the season. Tajay Spears is the other running back for the Titans who is supposed to be kind of in a timeshare. He's hurt his ankle last week. They are saying he's going to play, but he might not be 100%. Tony Pollard's looked really good for this Titans team running the football. And as you said, I mean, I think you kind of painted it a little nicer than it actually is. This Packers rush defense is not spectacular. They can definitely allow some guys to get the job done on the ground. I think Tony Pollard is set up for a good day. And then the second play I have is Calvin Ridley. Over 51.5 receiving yards. He hit it last week. He had a big bomb. He scored 2 touchdowns. He's the Titans' best offensive weapon. And I think that he's going to get open in this game. Jair Alexander is going to be guarding D-Hop just because of the way that defensive schematics is going to work. Calvin Ridley plays the X position. D-Hop plays the Z position. That's where Jair Alexander is going to be guarding him. So I think that Ridley's going to have a lot of opportunities to get open across the middle of the field with some yak ability. I really like the 51.5 receiving yards for Calvin Ridley. I think that he has a chance to have a good game. But I agree with you, V. This game's going to be close. I don't think that either one of these teams are going to come in and blow each other out. But if this game turns into, if it's Will Levis versus Malik Willis, which is kind of tough to say, if Levis shits the bed again and Malik Willis gets a dub, then the Titans are in real shit for the rest of the season. And as a fan, I can say that knowingly that that's true. But I think we can both admit it's going to be a good game. It's going to be fun.
Sure.
We'll be watching it. I don't know if we can agree that it'll be a good game, but I think we can both agree that we'll watch it.
As fans, we'll enjoy watching it.
I don't think any game where the backup quarterback is coming in and his fucking passing line is 144 has any chance at being a good game. There's a reason why you can't bet on fucking Josh Jacobs rushing attempts right now, boys. This is a complete stay away from me. I'll just be having fun watching one of you guys be in agony, realizing your season is pretty much over after week 3.
Well, I mean, if the Packers lose, it's not a big deal. They'll be 1-2. That's fine.
With their quarterback having a finicky injury, it's not looking good.
He's coming back week 5. Week 5 against the Rams in Los Angeles. He's coming back.
Do you buy it before we move on from this game? Because I think we've eaten it enough. Although it is fun. We were nice to each other, dude. We were nice. Do you think that Gloves plays in this game? Do you think it's just been a hoax? He's not playing,
I don't think it's been a hoax. Like, I think that I don't think the injury is as serious as once initially reported. I think we'll see him week 4, week 5. Like, if I'm being fully honest, I will have a injury piece coming out later tomorrow just to kind of break down the injuries going into week 3, guys who we should avoid, and maybe a couple of guys that we can bet on just because of the injury report. But that's neither here nor there. I will break down some of these injuries. I think that Love will see week 4, week 5 return. I don't think it's as serious, but I don't think that week 3, you just pay this guy as much money, like the richest contract in NFL fucking history, right? I think before Dak got paid, I don't know if Dak passed him or however that fucking works, but you can't rush him back in the 3rd week after he had a potential MCL injury. That would be asinine. You would be fucking up your own investment, you know?
Oh, 100%. There's no way that Jordan Love's going to rush out there to play the Titans, respectfully. All right, let's move on. We've got about 4 more games of this late window. Boys, how we doing on time? I know we've gone a little over the normal hour. Chat, are you guys still having a good time? You guys want to keep going through these last few games here? Do we want to kind of cut and kind of do a couple more and then call it?
If we see any shitty games, we can skip over them, but let's go through them. What do we think about this Panthers-Raiders game? This could be shitty, but, like, I don't know.
Chuba Hubbard, he got his yards on just 10 attempts. They're sitting down Bryce Young. They're going to go to their back. He's going to kind of be that soother, pacifier, pressure release valve we always talk about. He's been in Carolina for a number of years. Everybody else has kind of been in and out. And I think that that line, again, is at 52.5. And I think this Panthers team is just fucking horrible. They're going to run the ball maybe 12, 13 times, and Chuba's going to get there.
There's so much love for the Panthers in chat. Holy shit.
They're absolutely horrible.
Boys, this line has been an absolute, as Rusty just said, it has been a roller coaster this week. It was, I think it was 7 when it opened. It's dropped down because people obviously sprayed the Panthers when the fucking Andy Dalton news came out. Now it's 5.5. It was 4. Now it's back up to 5.5. I don't want anything to do with this fucking game, man.
No.
Miss me with this game. Miss me with these teams. I like the Raiders. I think they're going to be frisky. Gardner Minshew's fun. I have Devontae Adams. I think he was great last week. I think he could be really good again this week against this Panthers team. But this game is just stank city, man. Woof. Could Andy Dalton come out and be spectacular? Sure. Could he also come out and just, this team sucks and he could suck too, and then it's just the Raiders easy? Sure. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I have one play in this game. One play. And it's not on the Panthers side, unfortunately, chat. I know you guys are loving Adam Thielen and a whole bunch of guys, but we're taking Devontae Adams to get into the end zone. Plus 140 for this guy.
Yeah.
He saw 6 targets, caught 4 of them in week 1. Last week, those targets doubled. He saw 12 targets, caught 9 of them. You know how many targets he saw in the red zone? 3 targets in the red zone. 1 touchdown. He is the guy that they want to go to. Him and Gardner Minshew's connection is getting better and better. And the thing is this Carolina team is atrocious defensively. We can make whatever changes we want at quarterback, but that's not going to change how bad this defense is and how bad they've been giving up points. The Raiders, like we said, the line has been jumping all over the place, and not in my fucking life am I going to touch this Raiders line at minus 5.5 or anywhere close to there, especially with how popular a survivor pool pick they are this week. I am not fucking touching them. We've seen fucked shit happen already through 2 weeks, but I am taking Devontae Adams, the target share, the red zone targets, and we know that once you get within 20 yards, there's no better route runner in the league than Devontae Adams, but once you get within 20 yards is when that stuff really kind of comes into play. We saw the game-winning touchdown by Drake London. That was all route running. It wasn't speed. It wasn't anything. He faked the shit out of Darius Slay, caught a game-winning touchdown in the fucking corner of the end zone, and that's exactly what Devontae Adams did against the fucking Ravens to tie up the game and have the Raiders win in overtime. I know there's some also trend that teams coming off an overtime win versus a team that aren't against the spread, really not good historically. But to me, this also seems like the perfect Raiders turn-up game. They're going home. They're playing in Las Vegas. They just won a game. Everybody in that room is fucking going up right now. Devontae Adams had 9 catches for 110 yards. Crosby has been playing fantastic through 2 games. And now you have a QB that looks fucking serviceable, right? Vibes are high in Las Vegas, and this could easily turn into one of those blowouts just with how popular the Panthers are starting to become this week. But again, I'm not taking a side. I'm taking DA to get in the end zone, plus 140. I love the line. I think I like the touchdown more than the yards, more than the receptions, more than anything else. I think if anything, he's getting us 6.
I love it, V, because I was trying to tell Trizzy this in week 1 when he wanted to take the Panthers. I told him, dude, the Panthers are picking up dudes that were cut from squads, and these dudes are playing snaps in the secondary come week 1. That is not a good sign for winning football.
That's a great point.
I
didn't know that.
There was actually a play, too, where Devontae Adams was catching a slant across the middle in the red zone. And surprisingly, he dropped it. And, I mean, if he would have caught that, he would have scored another touchdown. He was definitely scoring, or at least getting to the 2-yard line. But I'm probably not going to bet this, but I like Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is the number 1 tight end right now in the NFL from a yards per game perspective. He's been targeted like crazy. He also had 9 catches last week, or I think 8 catches last week for almost 100 yards. He's been awesome. He's been really, really good for the Raiders. And he's got the most receiving yards at the tight end position to start the season. As you said, Sook, this team, the Panthers, they can't defend a fucking nosebleed. I like Brock Bowers over 48.5. I haven't looked at the receptions. I might end up doing something with his receptions instead of his receiving yards. Let me just double check what it is real quick with you guys live. 4.5. It's very juiced though. I like his involvement of this offense as well. I like this play a bunch. Probably going to end up locking this in before the weekend as well. So,
I mean, I like that a lot because Bowers and Devontae will show out, and I've been scared of guys like Zamir White. He hasn't been really that good for the first 2 weeks of the season, and I was high on him. I drafted him in a bunch of fantasy leagues. I think this Raiders team likes to get it done through the air, and Zamir White is not going to be as featured as much. So I love both plays from you guys.
Yeah. I like that Dalton interception, a little juiced, but that makes a lot of sense as well.
Love the Bowers look too, Kadar. I think he's looking like the best tight end in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
As a guy that's drafted Kincaid and Kelsey in multiple leagues.
All right, let's keep it going. Seahawks, Dolphins, you guys got any thoughts on this one? I don't really like this game.
I actually didn't even touch this one just because of the Tua news. I have no idea what's happening with Tyreek. He looked hampered. Also, there's no it's looking like Kenneth Walker is going to be out a few weeks for the Seahawks too. Yep. So I know Zach Charbonnet had a big game last week. The Seahawks are due for a loss. Miami's due for an ugly win. I have no idea.
Shout out our boy Nux Picks. You know he's back in his squad this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Me and him might have to get in the lab again. We came hella close to that collab on Monday night.
Yeah, you did. You got to do another one. Mom Martina has been all over JSN since the beginning of the week. I like that play a lot, but this game, just something about this game kind of sketches me out a little bit. If you like Charbonnet, just before we move on, because of that Kenneth Walker news, his touchdown was minus 110 earlier today. He scored a touchdown week 1 and week 2 anyway with Walker playing. He's probably going to get in the end zone as the number 1 back because the Miami Dolphins are bottom 4 in the NFL at the running back positions to touchdowns. So, or touchdowns to the running back position. So, all right. So we talk about this Lions Cardinals game. So, did you have anything on the Seahawks Dolphins? Or you want to move past it?
No, nothing on the Seahawks Dolphins.
All right. Let's talk about this Cardinals game. Cardinals Lions. This one should be interesting as well. The Cardinals surprised a lot of people so far to start the season. Kyler Murray seems like he's back. And the Lions lost last week to your Bucks. You saw that game pretty closely. The Cardinals are at home here. The Lions are favored minus 2.5 on the road. The over/under is 51.5. What do you guys think about this game?
Carly, you missed out. I am on the Giants money line and plus 6.5, ready to get my heart broke. But I will be flaming all Giants fans, including you, Coins, and everybody if they sell me. So, but back to this game. I honestly thought the Cardinals were going to be complete dog shit this year. I thought they were going to be really, really fucking bad. And then they came out last week. As a guy that was holding a Rams money line ticket, I looked like the biggest bozo in the world when they came out and won 41-10. right? Kyler Murray is playing MVP like fucking football right now, and I think we've got about 3 more weeks till Call of Duty comes out, so it might be time to just ride the wagon until COD comes out.
Facts. I mean, the Kyler Murray rushing yards got mentioned earlier. I really like that play. It's 34.5 now. I think you can probably get 33.5 or 32.5 at other books. Let me just peep what our guy is. I mean, I kind of want to take Jameson Williams over 53.5 receiving yards again. I mean, it's cash 2 weeks in a row. He's got one good big play in him, at least one. Yeah. We saw Marvin Harrison Jr. also have his breakout game last week in the utmost. And this Detroit Lions pass defense is not great. So there's definitely some opportunities. Maybe the over in this game, 51.5 is high, but both of these teams like to score points for fun. I think that would be the way I would lean. The Lions on the road at -2.5 would probably be the spread direction I would lean to, but I don't know if I want to take that either. I kind of just like the over.
I kind of agree.
I kind of scared of the over. That's why this is a game that's complete stay away from me. I don't know what's going to happen in this game. This might be one that I just tune into and watch these two teams sling the ball.
The thing about these types of games,
game last week that we thought we were going to get a really, really high scoring game, but then they just kind of came out. The Bucks game last week, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
We thought they were going to come out, set off some fucking fireworks, right? And then we got what? Sook enjoyed it, but everybody else did it.
Yeah, I mean,
think that this is.
Sorry, I was just going to say the one play at SPJ that I do like is some books are giving you Jared Goff for a rushing yard for +100.
Oh my God.
I just think
one
that's
scramble,
hilarious.
One little scramble. The one thing I would say about this game is if you like some stuff and you do think that the over is going to hit, take it, because this could turn into a game where just everything fucking smacks. Like it just turns into a, Amon-Ra, 100 yards, Harrison Jr., 100 yards, Kyler, 50 rushing yards, Jahmyr Gibbs, touchdown. It could just turn into one of those. So I wouldn't be opposed to doing that. It's probably a good SGP game. If it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. That's why we're betting. Thanks for the 4-man SPJ. What do you mean? The one I just named off? Yeah, watch that hit. All the things I just said, smack. There you go.
And if you want to pay the juice man, the same guy that made the Bucks life absolute hell, he might chase around the little boy Kyler a lot. You can get his 4 tackles, but it's fully juiced -165. That guy really fucking impressed me last week.
See, boys, these are the parlays that are going to hit. And you know what I'm going to do when we get out of here? I'm going to bet this, because if it fucking smacks and I said it live on the show, I'm going to be pissed.
Let's go.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's keep it going. A couple more. Let's top it off right here. Ravens, Cowboys. It's a good way to finish the show. Cowboys 1-point underdogs at home. Just got embarrassed last week against the Saints. Got the Ravens coming off 0-2. Everybody did not expect this team to be 0-2 at this particular point of the season. Funky line here. Over under is set at 48. I have a play in this game. It's a prop. Do you guys know what the worst passing defense in the NFL is right now? Do you know which team it is?
Is it the Ravens?
Is it the Commanders?
The Baltimore Ravens are allowing the most passing yards in the entire NFL. They got nuked by Patrick Mahomes first week of the season, and then the Raiders that we just talked about took them to school last week. Gardner Minshew got his Uncle Rico stuff out the way and was slinging the rock all over the place. You know what they've also done in both week 1 and week 2? They've allowed a 100-yard receiver in both games. Rashee Rice went for over 100 in week 1, and Devontae Adams, which you just mentioned, V, went over 100 yards in week 2. Who do they got coming into town that they got to deal with in week 3? Maybe the best wide receiver in football. Give me CD Lamp over 78.5 receiving yards. It's up to 83.5. I don't care. Ladder it to 100. I think CD goes bananas this week. The Ravens' pass defense is really bad, and I think that I think that Dak and company at home in Colby, Jerry's World, are going to go ape shit. They're going to kind of get their lick back after what happened against the Saints last week. CD also hit his yards last week. He only had 4 catches for 90 and went for a touchdown. I love this play. This is my second favorite, I think, of the entire slate. I'm all over CD. I laddered it to 110.
I love it. I love it, SPJ. I love his touchdown too this week. I think plus 110 is great value for this guy. A lot of these touchdowns we're going to be bitching later on in the season when they're sitting at minus 125, minus 115, minus 120, right? This is the time to take this. It's like when we're betting the NBA early on in the season is the time you're going to find the most value on lines when you're not seeing guys at like over 2.5 threes for minus 145. You know what I mean? This is that. CD is going to be a guy that finishes with probably 13 to 14, maybe 15 touchdowns on the year, right? Now, is he going to score one in every game? Probably not. But is it a good bet in at least 12 of the 17 games? Probably. And I'd love his yards too. Like you said, I didn't know that Baltimore had the worst pass defense like that because I know that the Commanders have allowed 6 passing touchdowns to opposing wide receivers, but we've seen it. Baltimore's been bad. They let Gardner Minshew fucking ball out on them at home in Baltimore in their home opener. It was kind of fucking sad to see. You know, Lamar went from MVP to 0-2. I guess one good team, one bad team. But now you're getting the Cowboys in Jerry's world, hungry off a win too. It's going to be a really, really tough test. But one guy that I'm targeting is Dak Prescott. I was just looking for the line here. His passing touchdowns. Where is it? Sorry. Yeah, over 1.5 for minus 115. Usually I like to get some plus money value here, but if you look at Lamar, he's sitting at plus 110. So, they got a different line here. Is that minus 176?
No, it's minus 116.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're good.
Dak.
But I love this line. I think you can't just put up the amount of points that they just did. You can't look the way that you did against the Saints. Get paid the money Dak just did to not fucking do shit. Over 1.5 passing touchdowns. The run game is non-existent. They have a 65-year-old Ezekiel Elliott running in the backfield wearing the number 45. It makes me so fucking uncomfortable. I hate all of it. I hate it so much. Then they have a guy like Rico Dowdle who's like no hate to short people, but he's really small and he's getting beaten up in between the tackles. He hasn't been doing the things that he did last year because he's not finding the space. I just think that this Dallas team is solely on the back of Dak Prescott. And if he doesn't throw at least 2 touchdowns this week, their season might be fucking cooked. So give me the over 1.5 touchdowns at minus 116 for Dak.
I like that too. I was thinking about when I was labbing this game, when I was kind of figuring out what prop I wanted to take, I was thinking about taking passing yards for Dak because I think he should have a good day. Because like I said, the Ravens are worse in the passing yards allowed. I didn't look at like total pass defense, but from a yards perspective, you know what I mean? So I like that play. Any love for the Ravens side of things, boys? I mean, I don't want to touch the spread because the Ravens are kind of due, but I think it's the Cowboys at home. But the spread kind of susses me out.
I do think Lamar gets in the end zone this week just because I think it's going to be a similar spot like we saw with Jalen Hurts last week. He kind of rumbled in there at the end. I know they got Derrick Henry in the backfield, but the thing is that Lamar and company, they don't look good this year. They need a win. They need a big splash play. We saw him at the end of the game last year. I think he had like some big 30, 40-yard run because he couldn't get the ball downfield, so he tried to get it with his feet. He's going to need to do something like that. You can't go 0-3, not in this division, not with the Bengals playing the Commanders this week, not with the Steelers looking like they might go 3-0. You can't go 0-3 this week. Backs against the wall. Give me Lamar to get one and rumble into the end zone. I'm taking the rushing touchdown over the rushing yards.
I like his yards too, 54.5. Do you know who the 10th best running person with the most rushing yards in the NFL is right now? Lamar. 10th most rushing yards in the NFL right now. The question in the chat from Rowdy, why is Henry starting out slow? He had a better game last week. He had 80 yards on the ground and a touchdown against the Raiders. The Baltimore offensive line is not very good. They are kind of struggling right now from a pass pro perspective, but also from a run blocking perspective. It also takes time for these pieces to fall into place. So I'm not necessarily worried about it so far, but it's definitely something to pay attention to.
I do think that it has to do with the fact that, like Harbaugh said it, he doesn't want to run the ball 30 times with Derrick Henry. But the thing is why are you bringing in a running back like Derrick Henry that needs to run the ball 25 times to have the impact? Because the thing is, it's those last 8-9 rush attempts where he breaks it open for 16, 17, sometimes 25 yards at a time. So if he's not getting to that number, if you're not allowing this guy to bruise the defense for 3 quarters, he's not going to have the same effect. So
you need that defensive line to be doubled over in the fourth quarter when they're listening to the play, really going, holy fuck, I hope they don't fucking run it again.
Like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Well, and you would think that, because I watched Derrick Henry do that for years, and it would happen. Middle of the third quarter into the fourth quarter, guys were making business decisions, man. They don't want to tackle that guy anymore. And you would think that with the conversations that we've had about the rise of the rushing game and all the cover 2 highs and all the different things like that, you would think that the Baltimore Ravens would just be like, we're just going to line up and we're just going to fucking run the ball down your throat with one of the biggest, most powerful running backs in the NFL. I don't know why they're not doing that.
And this is a classic case of big braining gone wrong. He's trying to big brain the situation, and he thinks that he can still run his offense with a guy like Derrick Henry, and I just think that Harbaugh's flat out wrong.
I mean, one of the reasons he's not getting that many touches is one of the guys I like in this game, but I haven't pressed the buttons yet, is my boy Zay Flowers has been getting double-digit targets in the first 2 weeks. His 6 receptions is plus money. I haven't pressed the button yet because I'm a little scared because I don't know what's going to happen. Are they going to give Henry the ball? Because SPJ, correct me if I'm wrong, he had more success in the second half in week 2. So they could kind of go back to him again come week 3. Zay's obviously had all of that big target share, but he hasn't even broken 100 yards yet. That's why you're seeing his yardage line that low, but his reception line that high. So for me, with this spread being so low, this is a game that I'm just going to enjoy.
It's going to be a good one. And this will be in the afternoon slate. It should be a fun game to kind of cap off the slate. Either red zone, you can either red zone this. Between this game and that Cardinals game, Cardinals-Lions, and then the 49ers game, which we didn't talk about, we'll have a chance to talk about that one on Sunday. But should be a good, fun little afternoon slate. So, all right.
And 2 Monday night games this week.
2 Monday night games too, which is going to be fun as well. Vsauce going to be scribbling about that Jaguars-Bills game. And then Colby already has some thoughts out there about the Bengals and the Commanders game too. So, all right, boys, it's been fun, man. Chat. Did you guys enjoy a little Friday night going through the NFL slate for the week? Before we get NBA back, I think we're going to start doing this on the show to kind of get the vibes moving, get you started off into the weekend. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Chewy. Chewy. Love you, Chew. Oh, goodness. All right, guys. We appreciate you guys stopping by, as always, for the Sauce Team. We got a month left until NBA is back, which is the labbing we just did. We're going to do with the NBA so soon, gents. It's going to be great. We need who wins the Wubba Nubba. We need your picks. We will talk more about the Wubba Nubba tomorrow, Rusty, on Betspresso in the morning time. So we'll be sure to tap in with us tomorrow. Inzi's got some thoughts that he'll be sharing tomorrow. Actually, I don't know if Inzi will be there tomorrow, but we'll talk about the Wubba Nubba tomorrow.
Rusty, I promise you, I will annoy the crap out of these guys on Sunday. If you do not know, round 1 of the WNBA playoffs starts on Sunday. We got 4 fucking banger ass games. I will be annoying on Sunday with a few WNBA plays if my boys Kobe and NZ are not there, but I'm sure SPJ has some shit too.
Yeah, I'll have some stuff on Sunday as well, because I don't think Colby or NZ will be there Sunday. So you and I will talk about a little bit of WNBA. Maybe we'll get V to bet the WNBA on Sunday too.
You guys been getting it, and I look at the with vigor that I talk about this league with now versus day one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I was out here saying Caitlin Clark is a lot of hype, and now I'm her number 1 fan, man.
I love it, dude. We've converted you. I wish I could find an MVP bet for her. I think it's probably cooked now, though. So. All right, guys. Appreciate you stopping by for the All Sauce Team. All the vibes are high. Have a fantastic weekend. Go out there and have a wonderful Friday night. As I said, we'll be live tomorrow morning, Betspresso in the morning time to get you guys ready to roll into college football all day tomorrow on Saturday. We got baseball as well. Be sure to tap in with us tomorrow at 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Central. And then we'll be back talking all about NFL Week 3 on Sunday with me, V, and Sook, and Shaggy Vets, talking about Week 3 right before the slate starts on Sunday. Boys, been a pleasure. You got any final words for the kids before we scooch on up out of here?
I can't wait for the NBA to come back. This is so much fun. Love you, chat.
Happy weekend.
I know. Happy weekend, baby. You guys came for the winners and you stayed for the vibes. We appreciate you so much. Give us a follow on all the socials. And don't forget, it's September. Give us a subscribe if you have not already on Twitch. We're actually 8 followers away now from 2,000 right here on Twitch. So if you haven't tapped in with us, go give us a follow. Please, we'd like to hit that 2K mark and keep climbing with you guys. But we appreciate you so much. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you tomorrow in the morning. Take it easy, everybody.
What you know about rolling down in the Down in the
Now I know we all be loving this shit right here.
rolling.
What you gonna do?
Rolling.
What you gonna do?
Down in the rolling.
What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit.
What you know about